Welcome, my name is Steven. I started climbing in July of 2021, was completely new to the sport. So today I'm going to take a look at my first year climbing and see some of the lessons I learned along the way and hopefully share some tips to help others progress in their own climbing journey. Starting off, taking a look at this climb, we can see that I really struggled early on trusting my feet. I also wasn't giving much thought to which is the next logical hand to go to the next hold, and a very insecure top out, not knowing what to do with my feet. I skipped over the month of July because I'd recommend for the first month or so climbing, don't really worry about form, how you're climbing. Just try to get a lot of climbing in, but do pay attention to your skin. The dreaded flapper will occur. That's when you open up a big piece of skin on your fingers, and it will definitely get in the way of your climbing. So I limited my climbs to about 1 hour per session. If I went beyond that, I'd notice I'd be more prone to get a flapper. So after this 1 month mark might be a good time to start recording your own climbs. That way you can take a look at what you might be doing that's not that great. Here I noticed I was doing a lot of readjusting. I could find some better ways to maybe incorporate different beta like heel hooks, and I am still not great about remembering beta, so it can be a good way to go into the same climb but do so a little bit more intentionally with an intended way in mind. I will also say without that heel hook, this last move here on the left was really scary, super sketchy. Even a year later, I find a challenging top move to be very scary. Moving into September, getting into a little bit more of a overhung style of climb. Here the focus shifts a little bit more to body tension and even leaning more into the footwork, making sure you're not cutting loose too much, keeping things very controlled, because anytime you swing out, uses a lot of energy. You'll see I made 3 bumps here because I really was struggling trusting my left hand, holding my weight while near the top of the wall to bring that right hand up to match. Here also moving up to the grades, this was maybe after 4 attempts of really making sure I got the sequence down, was able to do that. We'll see similar bumps, and a good addition here is you can see more utilization of flagging, so not just looking for footholds to place your feet, but using the wall to make sure your body is centered and you're maintaining good balance. To chat a little bit about training and the kind of volume I was doing, I was really focusing on getting a good amount of volume in. So I was training 3 days a week, typically a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thinking about the long term, I would climb 3 weeks on and then take 1 week of rest. And I did this primarily to make sure I could avoid any overuse injuries. Tendons are being put under a lot of load, so definitely didn't want to end up with a tendonitis or some sort of overuse injury, knowing that could easily take several months off of your climbing to heal an injury. Wanted to make sure that enough rest was baked in. In December here, I hit this big milestone for me was these yellow tags at my gym. So this V3 to V5 grade, you can see I'm able to get a heel hook in. I really had to overcome trusting this right foot to get this last move, and 2 points of contact, reach that really far at the length of my wingspan to get that final jug. here we can see I started to project this V4 to V6, which taught me a ton of lessons along the way. So definitely encourage you to not really focus so much about what grade it says on the wall and just try things, because when things are out of your ability level, you can see where you need to improve or do things differently. For this boulder, my endurance was definitely a big factor. So in addition to just bouldering, I would take 1 day a week, sometimes less than that, depending if I had a partner or not, to go and do some top rope. So that just really allowed my body to get used to doing a lot more moves than I would just doing boulders. I was really able to dial in the sequence and really make sure I'm keeping my feet in for controlling the swing on these moves to conserve as much energy as possible. Really going through it very statically. Again, getting the feet up, no swings. This big move that I always cut loose on, you can see I added a toe hook there as well. Still spending a decent amount of time on the wall here. Gonna fast forward a little bit. So taking my time, really kind of mentally preparing for this final move. I know I need to hit that side pull with the left hand and then just really commit to that final move. This is the highest my bouldering wall gets at this gym, so really still kind of coming into factor is the height on those top moves. But yeah, super pumped to be able to send this after working on it from November 15th. That final send was on December 28th. So yeah, a month and a half of projecting that. So rolling into 2022 and February, back at a little bit more modest V3 to V5. Grades are subjective, so they're always a range. Different grades will suit you in different ways. Here I had my first introduction to pockets, and that really relies on finger strength because you're not able to use as many fingers in the pockets as you would on a crimp or a jug that you might be able to get your whole hand on. That's why I had that interesting beta, kind of not going to the final move with the left, but really using that right hand to swing out there. This is also another really exciting boulder for me to finish. So right on that red point level for me is the V4 to V6 grade. So this was really focusing on body tension. A really big move here, making sure trusting that left foot, which has a lot of pressure going through it. And this last two kind of matched crimps here, needing to make sure you have the right sequence going into it to actually be able to top this out. Again, a lot of big moves have already happened, so pretty gassed at this point. Definitely lose form points on that top out, but ascend is ascend. Here's a climb that I really, really enjoyed. That V4 to V6 level, can already see that I'm feeling a lot more confident and flowy in this. It can also be seen here how I'm starting to use rotation of the hips, keeping them in close to the wall to rely a little less on pulling to get to the next hold, and also a use of momentum here to make it to that last top hold. And we are in July 2022. We made it to the 1-year mark. And here's a good moment to chat a little bit about plateaus in climbing. You can see, even looking back to early 2022, I was fairly confidently getting through some V4s to V6s. You are not always going to feel as strong as you did yesterday, sometimes even weaker. That's just kind of par for the course. So here on a grade well within my ability level, you can see me struggling a bit. This was coming off of recovering from COVID. I'd been traveling quite a bit, so yeah, just not feeling great. You will run into these plateaus and it's just a matter of time. Here I still think that was a nice movement to get that right hand crimp with a nice big flag, but again here you can tell I'm shaky, just not feeling as strong as I used to. So here, taking a look at this final problem of V5 to V7, even after coming back feeling a little less strong, I was projecting this V5 to V7, working out kind of the different portions one at a time. This section in the middle was pretty easy, so figuring out this top move. There's also this lower two options for the bottom, a coordination move I tried, but also just very long reach at 6'2". I opted to go for the long reach beta here. This final attempt will be my first send of a V5 to V7 grade at my gym, so I'm quite pleased to have gone from a V1 or V2 climber to a V5 in just a year. I'd say consistency and just avoiding injuries is really the best way to make the most progress, and I've been training very consistently, so expect many more videos to come soon. If you've made it this far, I thank you for watching and see you next time.